Sup? So, I don't know why I'm making that face. Though, whoa.
Overhead luggage began falling down.
Oh, okay, whoa. Okay, I did not know. I thought it was going to be like a fade in. I thought we was going to like do an easy transition. I thought we was going to do a slow build up to this. But we just jumping right in. Cool. Okay. Wow, okay, just give me time. I need to, you can't just be throwing stuff at me like that. All right. So we jumping right on in. I'm going to try my best to keep up and where they're clocking up at. So hopefully y'all can follow along. Here we go.
Some directly on people's heads, laps, and into the aisle. I felt like we were tumbling around in a washing machine. I turned to my side and looked out the window where I saw lightning strikes and flashes battering our plane over and over. I grabbed my mother's hands as we locked eyes without a single word or sound from either of our mouths. Amongst all the screaming, crying, and yelling from passengers, all I was able to do was stare at her scared and frightened face. We were going to crash.
Oh my God.
In a nosedive, hurling straight down towards the earth, the plane was disintegrating in mid-air with the right wing now completely torn off. I held as tight as I could to my mom's hand, but it wasn't enough. Our entire row was sucked out of the plane with me still strapped to my seat, and my mother sucked out of hers. As the screams of the people and the roar of the jet engine began to fade away, all I was able to see were raindrops and clusters of trees that looked like broccoli as I tumbled 9,800 feet down.
9,000 feet. Yo, like, plane is going to be in literal pieces. That's, oh my God. God forbid that ever happens to me. Oh my God, yo, like, oh, damn, that scares me, yo. Like, I can see why people don't like, airplanes. I mean, I like them, but then I don't like them because, you know, they're fast as hell, right? And some of them are comfortable as hell. But then I don't like them because shit like this, like, shit happens. So yeah. This is why you need to have, like, anytime you're going on an airplane or just going up in the air, you just need to bring an Adidas, you know, air, what's that thing called? That, wow. The parachute. There we go. At all times. Especially, not at all times, just like when you know for a fact you're going up in the air, you're going to be high as hell. You need to bring an Adidas, like, parachute. And, like, no questions asked. Just do it. You know? And on top of that, you know, obviously Adidas shoes. You know? Just saying, like, any other parachute, you just saying basically clock my life, like, you know. And that if you have a parachute and it's not Adidas, it's like equivalent to you wearing Vans, you know, or Jordans or something, or Nike. It's like you're not running, you know. So if you bring a parachute and something happens, like while you're in the sky, and you bring a parachute that's not Adidas, shit, you better pray. That's all I'm saying. Because if you have Adidas parachute, you don't necessarily have to pray. You good. You 100% guaranteed safety. Just saying. That's rough though. That's I'm so sorry.
Earth. And then nothing.
What do you mean nothing? What?
I thought I was dead. At least I should be dead, but I wasn't. I had been in and out of consciousness for nearly 24 hours.
Damn.
And as I opened my eyes, I saw no one. I heard no one. I shouted for help and for my mother, and I shouted until the entire jungle went quiet. But as my body caught up to my mind, I felt a horrible pain in my arms, legs, and chest. Falling the length of nearly 3.5 Burj Khalifas, the tallest building in the world, I managed to only have deep but not life-threatening cuts on my arms and legs, a swollen eye that I could not see out of, and a broken collarbone. To this day, there's no answer as to how I survived.
God was on your side, sweetheart. And Jesus. And the angels. Heavenly angels, that is. God was on your side. It wasn't your time. You know? But it's crazy because it's like when you're hurt that bad, or when you get hurt that bad, it's like, why? You know? It's like when you hurt yourself or you hit yourself so bad that you think you're bleeding, or you know, but when you actually check your bruise or whatever, it hurts so bad, but you're like, it's not bleeding. Like, come on, yo. Like, you're hurting this much. You might as well just be bleeding. Like, come on, just bleed already. Like, come on. But yeah, God definitely was on your side. Like, that's crazy, you know. I wonder if this is real or not. I don't know.
I spent an entire day, and from a distance, I saw what looked like people. With only one shoe, blurry vision, and one eye to see out of, I used my remaining shoe as a guide to test the ground in front of me for any objects or snakes. I quickly went over, relieved that I wasn't alone.
How you
but
walking?
As I got closer, I noticed their feet were pointing towards the sky, and their heads rammed headfirst into the earth, still strapped to their seats. I was paralyzed, frozen. I stared at the bodies and noticed one was a woman and thought it was my mother. But as I looked closer, I noticed she had painted toenails. My mother never painted her toenails. I was so happy, but also ashamed at my reaction. It was the first time I'd seen a dead body. For the next 4 days, I found and crawled along a river, exhausted from lack of sleep from the hundreds of bugs biting me through the nights. I found a bag of candy as my food ration, but that was quickly running out. To make matters worse, I'd hear rescue helicopters flying around in the distance, teasing me, knowing they couldn't see me through the thick jungle forest, giving me false hope for any rescue. I felt so lonely, so afraid. I wondered if it would have been better to just die in the crash than go through this mental and physical suffering. Still, I crawled around and floated along the river for days, hoping either death or rescue would come sooner rather than later. After 10 days, still
10 days? Oh! 10 days of like just nothing. You alone in the forest, in the swamp, in the after fire. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. We're family. Don't judge. We don't judge over here. You know, I know you fart. So, I mean, I fart too. I'm human. I'm just like you. Don't judge me. Don't fucking judge me. Thank you. That's... Yeah, man. 10 days is a long time for you to just be stranded out there by yourself, just in God knows where.
No one or nothing. Nothing until I saw what looked like a boat parked along the river. Was I hallucinating? No, I could touch it. It was a real boat. What little energy I had left, I stood and searched for the boat's owner. No owner, but there was a small path which led to a hut with a palm leaf roof. Maybe I didn't have food, but at least I had some shelter. When night came, I began feeling something crawl in my upper arm.
Ooh.
I had an idea of what it was, but I didn't want to believe it. I looked down and saw maggots crawling in and around the inside of my cut. A fly had flown and managed to lay her eggs in my wound. My arm was infected, and maggots had been feeding on the dead flesh.
Ooh! God! You know that shit hurt. Oh! 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 Don't you know how you see something or you watch something and you can't really watch it or see it or hear it? Like, God. Oh, man. she was tortured for like 10 days. Like, that's... maggots, yo. Like, them mother cluckers.
My eyes fell upon a canister of gasoline for the boat, and I was reminded of my infection. I remembered our dog once had a similar infection, and my father treated him using kerosene. Still afraid to lose my arm, despite not knowing if I would lose my life, I sucked some gasoline out and put no more than €1-sized coin in my wound. Instantly, the maggots began digging deeper into my arm. I bit hard into my shirt as the pain intensified. Some maggots began falling out, while others dug even deeper into my flesh. I was forced to pull out about 30 maggots and actually felt pretty proud of myself.
30?
But there were still a few alive. At least the infection had been partially sterilized. The next morning, I woke up to people's voices. It was like hearing the voices of angels. When they saw me, they immediately stopped talking and studied my fragile and exhausted state. For a moment, they thought I was a water goddess, a figure from a local legend that resembled a hybrid water dolphin and a blonde, white-skinned woman.
What?
I introduced myself in Spanish and told them my story. The plane, the stream, how I ended up here. They had heard about the plane crash and ended up providing me with food and treating my wounds. The next day, they took me into town and I was immediately airlifted to a nearby hospital where my father was anxiously waiting for me. We didn't say a single word to each other. We just hugged and held one another, not letting go. The doctors diagnosed me with a torn ACL, a strained vertebra in the neck, a partially fractured shin, several deep lacerations on my arms and legs, and a swollen eye shut due to popped capillaries as a result of the freefall from the aircraft. In total, I spent 11 days in the Amazon jungle. Out of 91 souls on Lanza Flight 508, at 17 years old, I was the only survivor. It was later confirmed that my mother also survived the initial plane crash, but due to her severe injuries, she couldn't move. She died several days later.
Damn.
Alone, in pain, and afraid. I can't imagine what she went through during her last days. What is more disheartening, she was one of 14 who survived the crash, but would all die waiting to be rescued. Julianne Kopka is regarded as the miracle girl of Peru, who survived the events by a combination of good fortune, basic survival training, but most of all, determination.
This is real? Damn. I guess God does work in mysterious ways, because she could have been dead. She should have been dead. I really hope I don't get copywritten for this or a strike from this. So I mean, if you know the creator of this video, if you watch my video, I love you. Artwork, phenomenal, right? Vocals, phenomenal, right? How you gave a very detailed description, like you paint. I mean, granted, you literally drew it and painted it. If I had like my eyes closed and you was telling me this, the way you described the story in such detail, you painted that picture perfectly. You know, like I can easily watch this again, or like I can easily watch something like this with my eyes closed, and I can very vividly imagine what you're saying. That's how great of a job you did. You're a great storyteller, and I can just tell from this video alone. This was a random video that I suggested. I don't know if I suggested it. Maybe somebody else suggested it for me. But that's crazy, yo. Like, she went through so much. I want some backstory from that, because there has to be, I mean, yeah, there has to be a reason why she's still alive, you know? And she may now know why she's alive and why she survived that plane crash. But like, you know, God, I feel like God is, either, well, God and I feel like herself and probably a few other people know why she survived. But I would like a backstory and why she survived. You know, because there are certain things that happen to you that at first instinct, or like at first thought, when that thing happens to you, you may not understand, so you question God, which you should never do, right? But I understand why you do, because I did that a couple of times. But I feel like if something dramatic happens to you, or something like crazy happened to you, and you don't understand, and you know, you question God on why this has happened, or like, I should be dead right now, why am I not dead? I feel like later on in life, or sooner, or whatever, you're gonna understand why he did what he did. But maybe it's karma, maybe it's not, maybe it's just, it's something. You know, God just doesn't do stuff just to do it. He has a reason behind everything that he does. But that was, yeah, man, that's crazy. I wonder how she's doing now, though. Yeah. But hey, if anybody has ever had, I don't know, something similar to something like this, or anything crazy happened to them in which they you should have been dead, but you're not, let me know in the comment section below. Yeah, because I would love to hear some of y'all stories, like near death experiences, in the context that you should have been dead, but you're not. So if you have any of those experiences, let me know in the comment section below. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy, my family.